I texted him. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, perfect. Okay, good. And I do want to say, like, our initial plan, and I know this was kind of what we communicated to you guys a couple weeks ago, was to have like a proper data night. And then when we started planning the logistics of it, it was just really difficult. I think in the real world, when people are together 3D, it's really easy to have a folder for everybody. So like you can walk in, you can see the reports just for your kid. If you have questions about that, you can ask. But the format of that for the teachers was going to be really difficult. And basically, we were training all the teachers to give a presentation like I'm about to give. So it just seemed like more streamlined to do it this way. And then I'm going to tell you some of the reports that are available, and teachers will be ready if you reach out and say like, hey, Mr. Ritzema showed us this report that you can pull through Renaissance. Can you share that with me and let me know kind of what are the implications for my child? All right, so let me get a presentation going. So again, I may not see hands, so I guess I see Ms. Foam, but if there's other folks who want to let me know if they see hands, again, feel free to interrupt. Please excuse my font. I don't know why I did this. It seems kind of unprofessional now, but we'll go ahead. Okay, so there's the outcomes. We'll talk a little bit about the Renaissance test and what it's all about. We'll talk about the email that you guys got, I think for Mr. Ng last week. We'll talk about those additional reports I told you about, and then I thought this was a good opportunity to talk about all the testing that's coming up, because we are testing away. Okay, so the Renaissance, I think actually this year you guys probably know about this test more than any other year, because you've probably been in your living room while it was happening. So it's a standardized test. It's cool. It's computer adaptive, meaning if a student gets the first question correct, they're going to get a little bit harder question in the next time, and so on and so on and so on, until it has a good sense of like at what grade level their skills are. So we give all our Kinder Plus students 3 times a year have to take it, beginning of the year, middle of the year, end of year. We use it as a campus a lot of times to make decisions regarding intervention. So who needs extra reading support, who needs extra small group support, that kind of thing. And then these are the 3 tests that we're able to give: early literacy, reading, math, and then the grade levels that apply to each. And so you probably saw, like, if you when you got the data, you may have gotten information about early literacy, but maybe your child didn't take it, or vice versa. So these are the 3 big ones. So early literacy, I'm not going to read every little part of it. And again, you've probably seen this test a lot. This is kind of what it looks like. So the early literacy one's kind of entertaining because there's not a lot to it really. A lot of it is just kind of like letter sound recognition, stuff like that. Reading, we get this a lot of kids. So it does both kind of expository and literature, and then language. And so, yeah, some of them look as short as this kind of grade 1 over here. Just seeing, can the student read the sentence and then comprehend what's happening? And then you see for the higher grades, it's more like paragraphs. And then math covers a whole lot. And it's interesting because it's not always aligned to TEKS, but it'll get students up to really high, difficult math. So here's a 3rd grade example and an 8th grade example. I'm sorry if I'm going through this too quickly, but I do, like I said, you guys probably have seen these tests a lot this year. So let me see, before I move on, are there hands up? Let me see. Any hands up? Cool, all right, keep going. So this is the information that you guys got. So there were 3 things that you got in your email. So one was the scaled score, and if I'm being honest, for most students, the scale score is not that useful of a number. We use it a little bit for like progress monitoring and stuff, but it's kind of like it's kind of made up by Renaissance, by the company. So that number itself doesn't mean a whole lot. The one exception to that is early literacy. And you would have seen in the attached letter that that for early literacy, the actual scale score can give you a good idea of like where they are as a reader. And that attached letter, it kind of explains what each of these means. So yeah, scale score is not worth a lot. Percentile, I think most of you guys are pretty familiar with what percentile means. But yeah, the basics are right. If a kid had a percentile rank of 85, that means they performed as well or better than 85% of the students in the same grade who took the test. So percentile rank is a lot. It's nice to know, and it's not just normed against HISD or our campus. It's normed against like the entire country. So it's good to kind of get that measure. And then percentile is nice for us because we use it to kind of make these big categories of kids being at or above benchmark, kids being unwatched, or kids needing intervention or urgent intervention. So again, this is all connected to percentile rank. At or above just means they're above the 40th percentile. Unwatched means they're in this zone. And then here are intervention or urgent intervention groups. These are the kids that will flag and say like they could use additional support, you know, from either small group, or we actually had a reading interventionist just begin on campus today, which is exciting. I'm sure Mr. Ng will tell you guys more about that on Friday. All right, so those are the 3 parts of the email that you guys should have gotten. Let me look for hands again. Are there questions about that? Okay, all right, cool. So I'm going to share with you 2 additional reports that teachers now know how to access. And these would be the type of reports that would probably be in your folder for data night if we had a real like in-person 3D data night. So this one is called a instructional planning student report. So it gives you this kind of big information, which is the same information really as came in the email. The only thing you may get sometimes with like reading reports, you'll get instructional reading level, Lexiles or reading specific things. Another thing this report will include a lot of times is grade level equivalency. So if you have a 3rd grader, it may tell you like your kid does math as if they're in the 4th month of 4th grade or something to that effect. And then it's colorful, it's nice. But the second part of this report, this instructional planning student report, is really helpful because it gives a bunch of like ideas of where that kid, where that student could like focus to grow their skills in that subject. And a cool part about this report is like, even so let's pretend my student is in 1st grade. If the skills that kid needs are 2nd grade skills, it'll give those here. And you'll even see kids like, I'm trying to think for math, an example, like maybe the student, when it comes to numeracy, they're like above grade level, so they need to focus on a grade level skill that's like 3 levels above theirs. But then maybe in geometry, they still need to focus on that grade level skill. So obviously for teachers, and this is what we did in our like grade levels meetings this week on Monday, was teachers pulled these reports for kids just to see like what are the focus skills for the specific students in my room. And I know this can be helpful for you guys too, because yeah, you want to help your kids out. And some of this, especially in the younger grades, it's like describe how some events lead to other events. Like, oh, I can do that when I'm reading with my student at night. And then another good report, I like this especially right now, is this progress monitoring report. So again, the first page is just this graph. But a cool thing about these Renaissance tests is we've now been giving them, I think this is the 3rd school year. So like, this is the same report. These are just the individual data points. But you can see like the first time they took the test, where their percentile rank was, etc. If you've been to a 504 meeting with me, I like to pull these reports up. And I especially like these reports right now because we're kind of having, for this most recent administration, we're kind of having both problems of kids who have been like scoring very, very, very high, who didn't score as high this time just because of the weirdness of the world and the fact they're at their house and all that stuff. And then we have some of the opposite where kids may be a little bit lower. And then we see that the scores actually went up pretty high. And it could be that they read all summer, or it could be that they're getting a little help at home. I'm not totally sure. I see a hand. Go ahead. That may be the student, Lisa, right, Ms. Nolan?
Right.
Okay.
That's her mother, Lisa's mom.
Hi.
Hi. Quick question on, is there any way that we can see the previous year, or, a history of scores just so we can see how our child did this year versus other years?
Yeah, so that would be, this report would be the best thing for that. And now it's only, let me pull it up again. It's only showing like the percentile rank. I think that's all that's on this exact report, but that's the basic idea, right? So it's saying this was the date they took it. So this would be the beginning of the year in 2017.
I'm sorry, I can't see your screen.
No? Did we zoom
No,
in?
I only see the participant's screen.
Oh, are you serious?
Okay. Yeah, well, now I see it. Now I see it.
I'm sorry. And I can zoom in if I need to. But yeah, so this report, it comes in this point. So it has this like graph, which is helpful, and then like a line of best fit. And then, yeah, then it gives the individual test dates.
Okay, because the only thing that I received was an email that essentially said, your kid scored XYZ, and it's this percentile for math and then for English or what have you. So I didn't get that detailed of a report. So where can we?
That's kind of one of the, okay, so first of all, we've been meeting about the best way to get this data out to you guys for like a month now. And we were just having a hard time. It was almost like those letters for PowerSchool. We can only get it as a PDF, and then there's no direct access to Renaissance for parents. So short of like either one, like printing out all the PDFs and then mailing them, or like having teachers print a PDF and then send to everyone. We didn't have a great way to get this information out, and so we kind of did the best we could with that email. But that's one of the reasons I wanted to show you guys these two reports, was your classroom teacher will know how to access these. And so you can ask for the report by name, or you can just say like, hey, I'd like to talk a little bit about the data. And so the teachers understand, so instead of having data night tonight, that they may have parents reach out and ask questions.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And then, like I said, if this was a normal year, we would have it printed when you came to data night and be in a folder. Parents that didn't come, we would send it home, that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of the times right now. Yes, I see another hand. Go ahead. I can barely hear you.
Oh, sorry.
That's better. Yeah.
Should we ask the homeroom teacher, especially for the middle school kids?
For middle school, I would ask the subject area teacher.
Oh, so each subject has its own report.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'm sorry. That does, now that I'm saying it, sounds inconvenient. But yeah, I would reach out to the reading teacher and the math teacher.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and let me just go back over this again if you wanted to like write down the name of these reports. So the first one, it's called Instructional Planning Student, and it's the one that will give you focus skills, and then maybe a few more pieces of information on this first page, like basically the grade level of the student's work. And then this is called the Progress Monitoring Report. And again, this is helpful to me, especially during I-504 meetings and stuff, because any one test on any one day doesn't really tell you a lot, but if you can kind of see the trend over time, that's more helpful. All right. So then the next thing I kind of want to talk about was what's in the future, because there's so much. Yeah, we're not doing all the things the same this year, but we are testing the same this year. So right now, the English high frequency word exam should be happening for first and second. So if you haven't heard from your teacher, you should be hearing about that soon. This is kind of interesting. So I know we said this assessment we're talking about right now, we generally only give beginning of the year, middle of the year, end of year, and they're asking us to do like an additional one, I guess, just to kind of see, how kids are growing or not right now with everything going on in the world. So there will be another window that they'll be taking the test that goes about the middle of November to the middle of December. And kindergartners are exempt this time, so it'll just be 1st to 8th grade. For 1st grade, this round of the universal screener is also going to will also count as a part of our like dyslexia screening for the campus. So just it's going to be very important this time, especially for first graders, that they take that early literacy. You'll also, in that same window, the teachers should be doing benchmark running records, which is the, if you remember, like they'll say, you know, your child's at a J or a K or all that stuff. So like where's the reading level on actual text and fluency. And then we just talked about this today, and Ms. Shaw is working on this, that we're going to also have the Mandarin high frequency word exam #1. That's going to happen towards a little bit later, but yeah, also the same sort of window. And then, yeah, I said for first grade, so they're going to do the early literacy, and then first grade is also going to get a like spelling screener, just again to screen for dyslexia universally across first grade. And then, yes, you guys should know about this already. So all our kinder and fifth graders every year this time of year get GT tested. So that's next week. I hope you guys have heard about that. If you haven't, then you reach out to me or Miss Yen, we can help you. And then the people that request the GT testing will start that following week and goes all the way into December. So I think that's my last official slide, which means you guys can ask questions. I guess I would say keep them assessment related at first, and then maybe as people start leaving, you can ask if you have questions about other sort of related stuff. Go ahead.
Mr. Ritzema, it's Emily Johnson's mother. I just want to repeat what you said, which is for kinder to fifth grade. I'm talking about elementary school. We need to ask our respective teachers for these reports, the progress monitoring report specifically, to be shared with us.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then yeah, I can even follow up just to make sure, because like I said, we met on Monday and we explained actually with the exception of third grade, I'm about to meet with third grade, but explained that data night isn't going to look like we were thinking it was going to look, but we will tell teachers what's available. They ask you.
Moving forward, eventually we'll back on, will we get back to the old model how we did data night?
I hope so. Yeah, I mean, just if for no other reason than I think the teachers are really invested in it. Like they're the ones that at least brought it to my attention. So yes, yeah. I mean, I think even if we have less, like even if, for example, if they said, you know, parents still can't come on campus, if we had more in-person kids, we at least could send home the information in a folder and then still have like the same sort of data night as before.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. I have a question. I saw like a universal like a GT testing, right? So for our kids already identify like a GT student, they still need to take this test or not?
That's a good question. No, yeah. So the only students in kinder and fifth who don't take it are the students who are already identified. That's a good question.
Okay.
And then yeah, we don't know, because we understand that not everybody's completely comfortable coming to campus, because that is the kinder fifth is like paper and pencil, and so I get it. You know, it's to send to school can be kind of nerve-wracking. So there's talk of a potential spring administration, but they haven't told us anything concrete about that.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, go ahead. I see hands. Go ahead, jump in.
Hey, hello. This is Lucas's mom. I got a question regarding to this test. So, I received the test result for math, but I haven't received any reading test result yet. So have they conducted the test for reading, or?
It should have come at the same time. Was it blank? Was that part of the data blank?
No, I haven't received the report from any reading teachers yet.
Oh, okay. So you got one of these more detailed reports from the math teacher?
Math teacher, yes.
Oh, okay. So then, yeah, I would say reach out to that teacher, just say which report you'd like, and then I'm sure they can send it.
All right, got it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, this is Luke Pinkston's mom.
Uh-huh.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
Silly question. I mean, you're telling all of us to email the prospective teachers to get these these additional reports that in the past during data night we just automatically got in a file.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's extra work or I'm just thinking about teachers and having 80-something students email these teachers saying, I want these reports. Doesn't it make sense that they just automatically do these reports and then send them out to each parent?
It's just a lot. And then I can put that, like I said, I'll do a follow-up email after this meeting with teachers and say like, hey, if you want to proactively send these out, you can do that. I do think it's a lot. It's a lot to like, because you're printing the PDF, you're like printing every single page, right? And then.
Oh, no, I understand. Yeah. I just think
if
I was a teacher, I'd rather not get all these emails and would rather just go ahead and do them. Like it's done in all these past years that we've attended the school.
Yeah. The other thing that we couldn't quite figure out was, like, for example, if we said all like homeroom teachers, go ahead and send all of your reports to all your kids. If we said something like that, it starts to create problems for middle school. Just we have so many kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess in my email. Thank you.
I hear you. Yeah. And maybe that'll be the feedback we get from teachers is like, hey, it would have been easier just to have sent these ourselves in the front end.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I guess we're banking on at least some families like, oh, I have a good idea of the percentile rank, that I feel okay, and especially we're giving the testing in 3 weeks, right?
Is there any way, I hate to say this, but it's almost like you can find a middle schooler to pay, $10 to do this, because these poor teachers already, I mean, I get emails from them at midnight, at 6 a.m. for their lesson plans for the week. And, it's all great information, but I know that they're working crazy hours, right? And
Yeah.
and trying to do in person and virtual and everything else. So I don't know if there's any kind of help at all that they can get.
I hear you. I mean, it's I know, I understand the sentiment of the question, and I know like literally we couldn't let another kid see like other kids' data. We did think about mail. We thought about snail mail, but then,
or like a temp worker and you have them sign an NDA. I'm just trying to think of a way to relieve some pressure from these teachers, because the last thing that any of us want is some frustrated teacher to say, I just got bombarded for 70 test results and I'm done. That's a less. And plus that takes away time from their energy into teaching our kids, right? So I don't want them to do this. I mean, it's important to us, and I totally get it as a parent, but at the same time, I'm just trying to find a happy medium that works for both sides.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, you could imagine too, because they do professional learning with us, right? They have a certain amount of time that they spend on professional learning. So like if we said, hey, come during this time, and instead of what we had planned for you, you have this time to work on this, to get these ready, to send these out. I think that could be realistic. But yeah, I think I would want to talk to teachers, maybe just hear what some other ideas are. And someone asked about the parent volunteer. Again, I would be a little concerned about just seeing the other kids' data and stuff. I could consider it though. And then, yeah, I wonder if we had a different tool besides email, if it might be a little better also, just because I've heard, some people on other campuses are using Dojo and stuff like that to share. So maybe when Living Tree's up and running, that might be an easier way to do it.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, this is Mofei. I'm Mingen's mom. Just trying to get some understanding of the percentile numbers. What's the population we're talking about here? Is that the same graders in our school within MIMS, or this is district wide? So
It's-
if there's
Yeah, the percentiles are based on all the kids in that grade level who took it across the entire US. Because Renaissance is just, it's like a really widely used assessment platform. So yeah, the norm group is across the country.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Mac's mom.
Hello.
I have a quick question. I heard another mom asking about the GT testing next week.
Mhm.
I guess I was late. Maybe I don't know if I missed anything. So because my kid is in virtual classes, some parents wonder, including me, wonder, do we have to do the test? The kids are in kinder. So do we have to do the test if they're not GT certified? If we don't, is it going to affect school funding?
I
Want to do it maybe next year, you know, when the situation
Yeah.
is better.
I hear your question, and I hope, yeah, I please, when you're making decisions, I would put safety definitely above anything else. So I wouldn't worry about funding. And again, yes, of course, we can test them in first grade, and then it's sounding like they may even do a second like universal GT offering in the spring. And again, I'm not promising that. I just, it's been talked about. So yeah, I would say safety is number one right now. So don't feel pressured to send students to campus.
Okay, that's good.
Hello, this is Lucas's mom again. I have a question regarding to the skills that you have put up there. Some says focus skill, some has nothing noted. So the focus skill is the area that the kids needs to work on, right? And then the area that the skill sets that doesn't have a focus skill labeled, does that mean that the kids pass those skill sets?
That's a good question. Yeah, so the report actually, it'll be broken down by category. So there may be a whole category about comprehension, and then it has a whole bunch of skills underneath it. I think the idea is that everything that populates all of the skills that are listed, it's saying are things that student could work on. And I think when it says focus skills, I think it just means like this is a particularly important skill for this grade level or this age, if that makes sense. And so like if we're telling like let's say I'm a teacher and I'm pulling small group or doing guided reading, I may structure my small group around that skill for the next couple weeks because the report is saying like, oh, this is an important one for literacy development or numeracy development. So short answer, all of those skills would be like, these are things that you could work on with your student. The focus skills, they're just pulling out as like particularly important skills in general.
Well, that particular skills that in general is important for this particular kids to taking the test, or is that for the whole grade?
If they come up at all, it means that it's based on the responses the student gave on that test. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's very student specific.
Exactly. Yeah, and there are different reports teachers can pull that are like class wide or small group wide, but this one it's specific to that student.
All right, got it. Thank you.
And you can imagine in math, that's really helpful to know like, oh, this isn't the next skill that I want to work on with my kid,
Okay, so the one that has no labels, those are the skills that the kids master, or is the one that they are going to learn, or is the things that they are learning, or what those unlabeled skills, what does that mean?
They're still focus skills. Sorry, they're still skills that student could benefit from, is what they're saying. Yeah, and so yeah, I think if you think about it that way, like a curriculum, let's say that your students in second grade and those are third grade skills, then it's just saying like these are the next things that your child should be learning in class, or the next thing in their literacy development. And again, it's a little bit hard because a lot of this Renaissance stuff is based on Common Core. So it's not necessarily like Texas or TEKS based. But I think especially in literacy, I think it's, literacy development looks pretty much the same from state to state, or, regardless of the the objectives being used.
All right, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if that was totally clear because it will honestly be like a laundry list. Like it'll be 25 different skills across different areas. And so it's, that can be a little overwhelming to me and to teachers too. So it's nice that the program has said like, here are some particularly important ones. All right, so when we're done, yeah, like I said, I'll reach out to teachers and just let them know that we had this meeting, that they may be hearing from you guys, and then I'll also just ask if if they have suggestions of ways to make this easier next time, or like, would it have just been easier for them to send the PDFs in the front end? I can see what they have to say. All right. So again, if you guys just have testing questions in general, that's one of my hats this year is the testing coordinator. So feel free to reach out, and I will do my best to answer. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Ritzema.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, and if you want to hang around and ask a question, that's fine.
Okay, thanks. I have a question about the testing for kindergarten. For the kids who aren't getting tested, what are those days looking like? Is it the teachers administering the tests?
Yes, that's a good question. So yeah, it'll be all 4 teachers will be administering. So it depends. Is it a student who's coming to campus or a student who is at home?
No, he's virtual.
He's virtual. So yeah, unfortunately, at least until 1 o'clock on those days, the teachers will like provide like tasks or things for the students to work on those 2 days. But like the teachers won't be delivering live lessons. And we tried, if it was less kids, we were thinking like we can free up 1 teacher to teach, during the first testing session, and another kid the next day, or sorry, another teacher the next day. But the number of kids planning to come is like very, very large.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry about that.
Hello, I have one more question.
Go ahead.
So if I want to see the past result, does the teacher can pull the students' result from the system directly, or especially my son, he's transferred from the other school. Of course, it's a HISD school, so he did the same test in the other school too. So I want to know whether the teacher will still be able to pull out the result in the past.
Yes, as long as the test was taken on HISD campus, that report, that progress monitoring report, will have every time they've taken that particular test, even if it was at a different campus in the past.
All right, got it. Thank you.
All right, thanks to everyone for your time, and we'll see a lot of you tomorrow morning, and some of you later than that.
Thank you.